Let me tell you why I think some firms might be skipping over you despite the fact that you have a lot of really deep experience in multiple fields. Okay, let's read the background first. For some reason, I've never gotten any interviews at Fang. Do I put that I've been on Jane Street Puzzle leaderboard for 22 months straight? Should I remove some older bullet points as I start my full-time job? Any tips on what to delete after transitioning out of school? I'm going to be part student from March to June, traveling after. Any suggestions to do fun projects in the meantime? Love you, Coding Jesus. This person should be giving me resume advice. Okay, one sec. Let's see. Okay, I don't like when people have their name like on top and then the stuff below. That's totally fine. I just not my preference. Let's see here. Stanford University, Master's in Computer Science, 3.97 GPA, specialization in visual computing. That's fine. That's fine if it's on one bullet point. University of California, San Diego, Bachelor's in Computer Science and Engineering. I would put this on the same line, honestly, Master's in Stanford. And also, like, that's what I give up. These two lines can be effectively put into one. Master's in Computer Science, comma, Stanford University, comma, the location, and then right align the dates. That's fine. Okay. OpenAI, okay, member of technical staff, fine, incoming software engineer. I don't like the amount of space you have between these two. And it's inconsistent with the amount of space in between here. But that's just a dumb formatting thing. But it's just visually, it's a little more appealing when you have consistent spacing. There's no way this person can't get a job at Fang. Yeah, okay. Dude, why do you want to work at Fang? You're more cracked than that. NVIDIA. Once again, same line here. Merge these two. System software engineering intern, comma, NVIDIA, comma, Santa Clara, California. Right align the dates. It's fine if you have a little bit of color here and there. That's totally fine. Let's see here. Let me talk about the three prongs. Built and deployed front-end, back-end, and database of new API portal for developers to upload and share API documentation across teams. Built and deployed CI/CD pipelines for front-end, back-end, set up infrastructure to automatically generate Docker image and host internally. Your bullet points, to be frank, they're a little short on detail. Okay, and they're lacking the structure. So built and deployed. Instead of saying front-end, back-end, and data, I would say full-stack application written in whatever, Python, whatever, whose primary purpose is to store team firm-wide documentation. That's your first prong, semicolon. The next thing I would talk about is the details, how you built it. So what was the front end, what was the back end, what was the database? Then I would talk about why you did it maybe in order to alleviate, for example, desperate documentation hubs and unify system-wide documentation. And then what's the result? So the result was increased onboarding efficiency for new developers, for example. Okay? So that's going to be important. Your resume can really read like a really good project-based resume, like you saw my previous resume. It can read like a good project. This to me, this is literally like one massive project. So I want to hear about it. Because if I'm a recruiter and I'm reading through this, there's just so many things you can talk about, and there's not one thing. I want you to guide me. Give me easy questions to ask you. I want you to make things easy for me, okay? Wrote automatic API documentation generation script using internal LLM, fine-tuned on company Confluence pages, removing need to write documentation. So this last bullet point and the first bullet point sound like one really good project you can talk about. Okay? That's how you guide the interviewer. Now, because you're going to have a project-based resume, you might not have enough room to put like this can probably you can get rid of this. Right? It's just going to take up space. Also, because you have a lot of relevant experience at very good companies, you can effectively pick what you want to put on your resume to cater to that given group of companies you want to work at. So NVIDIA is going to be relevant. Riot Games are relevant. If you have a project-based resume, essentially just having these two is already pretty cracked. Having these two and having it project-based is even more cracked. Okay? I would get rid of Stanford Computer Graphics Lab. Cool, but might not be very relevant for the role that you're going for. Let's see here. You're just I think you have a solid you have a gold mine of projects you can talk about, but make it project based like you saw in my previous resume, and you really need to hit the three prongs: the what, who, where, and where, who, when, where, why, how, and then the final result. The final result. Okay, I need to know a quantitative result of why what you did was cracked. So this is good. So reduce development lifecycle from 3 weeks to 5 minutes. Removing 10-plus-year-old dependencies on CRN and SpringFox. Those are really good quantitative and qualitative results. You can include that in your project-based bullet point or your project-based resume redesign. Okay. So what I would do is if once you get into OpenAI, project-based for OpenAI, project-based for NVIDIA, project-based for Riot Games, everything else drops off. If you're using this resume now to apply for things, keep OpenAI, keep NVIDIA, keep Riot Games project-based. Maybe keep Amazon project-based if you still have space. No, always keep OpenAI. Always keep this. But what I'm saying is that these need to be project-based. Drop the other, like drop Stanford student, whatever, or drop graphics lab. Because when you have a project-based resume, it's going to take up a little bit more space. Okay, awards and publications. And because you have so many, it makes sense to have a separate resume section for this. For people that don't have as much, I would actually have it under my education as a separate bullet point. I would just have awards and then list them out. But because you have so many accolades, I would effectively just keep this section here. Hackathon, Euclidean shader displaying hyperbolic and elliptic. Bro, what? Build a math-based non-Euclidean shader displaying hyperbolic time chambers and Euclidean space graphics. Crazy stuff. Top 5 out of 70 teams at HackX. Made an interactive VR robotics competition. Built. This is going to be a stupid nitpick, dude, but this should not be capital. I know it sounds so stupid, but I'm just trying to help you the most that I can. I'm helping you around the edges here because you have the content. You just need a little bit of tuning around the edges. So don't have this capital. Developed, demoed, real-time 3D networked engine at Qualcomm Institute that featured real. I don't know if path tracing is one word. Maybe put a dash in between. Languages. So this might be, if you know all these languages very well, put them all here. Okay? But if you don't know Julia really well, there's no point in, you're already cracked, bro. You don't need to put that you know, adding that you know Julia is just going to open you up to potential attacks if you don't know Julia. Okay? PyTorch, TensorFlow, OpenCV, NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib. Okay, great. Graphics, game dev, web development, cloud, software. Okay, let me tell you why, Danny Cat. Let me tell you why I think some firms might be skipping over you despite the fact that you have a lot of really deep experience in multiple fields, which is very rare. It's because this resume does not scream, I want to work in this industry or that industry. So you have game dev here, you have web dev here, you have AI here, you have a lot of stuff going for you, which is great, but it's not focused on any particular stream. So if you want to really work at, let's say, like AI-based companies, then keep AI-based experiences here and really hammer them in the project-like environment that I'm format that I'm talking about. But will adding game dev here really help you on the AI stuff? Maybe if you work with GPUs, yeah. But what I'm getting at is you're really great at a lot of things, which is amazing. But it's not screaming I'm amazing at this thing in particular that I'm really gunning for. Don't get me wrong. You're a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, maybe even 10 out of 10 candidate in terms of your overall exposure. And your resume is probably like also up there as well. This is one of the best resumes I've seen. But it doesn't scream, I want this. So I've seen well, the reason I bring it up is I've seen a lot of really cracked candidates like you. Well, not a lot, but I've seen a fair amount of cracked candidates with really good resumes that want to go for quant, but then I see this resume like AI, web dev, game dev, and I'm like, where's the quant? Where's the quant focus here? Okay, so yeah, it's like this is like a Ferrari resume with conflicting personalities. So the chassis is Ferrari, the wheels are from Lamborghini, the exhaust is from Pagani, the windshield is from Mercedes. So it's great, but it doesn't scream, I want to do whatever. Not gonna lie, I just want to do game dev, but Riot did 2 layoffs this year, so I'm wandering aimlessly. Danny Cat, call in on another live stream when I do C++ mock interviews. Game dev's hyper competitive, and I'm not sure if the pay is that great. Now, he didn't get laid off. There were layoffs. I'm scared if you're CPP interview bros, I'm not that good at CPP. See, that's the thing. So, but I like listening to them. So I'm not saying this is Danny Cat, but we need to pause here, guys. Because we need to remember that this resume is cracked. But I've seen a lot of cracked resumes and dudes with 4.0 GPAs that don't know how to code themselves out of a paper bag. So I'm not diminishing Danny Cat, but this will definitely get you through the door, Danny Cat. But you're gonna need to perform in the interview setting.